A global pandemic, several stimulus packages, and billions of dollars in federal grant money to businesses. All of that is going to add up to a very complicated tax season. Joining me to talk about all you need to know for your 2020 taxes with the IRS, Raphael Tulino. Hi, Raphael.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me. I hope I can help.
Thank you for coming back. Okay, so first of all, there's a lot that is new for people when it comes to their tax return this year. And the first thing I have to ask is the stimulus checks that everybody got in this country that qualified, do you put those on your taxes?
The economic impact payments are not taxable. They're not to be included in your gross income. They're either round one or round two, which we actually are currently administering from the law that was enacted on December 27th. So those are not taxable. One thing I will say real quick, though, if you didn't get the EIP1 or EIP2 or the full amount and you had life changes and therefore you're due more based on having a child, for example, you're going to use the recovery rebate credit on a tax form 2020 in order to claim the full amount that you didn't get if you were eligible, or a part of it if you're eligible, based on your situation in 2020 for both payments. I hope that makes sense.
You know, last year, during this 2020, when we were in the middle of a pandemic and 2019 tax returns were being processed, there was a significant delay for returns. So
we pushed the date to process tax returns beginning here in 2021 to February 12th, which is normally about 2 or 3 weeks later than we normally do. And this is because we want to make sure our programming and all our things behind the scenes are up to speed, so refunds get processed in the normal-ish amount of time, which is 3 weeks or less for most filing a paperless tax return. That's direct deposit and e-file. So that's the bottom line there. But whatever you can do to do that is going to make things better. Last year, we had a paper mail that got piled up because we weren't open and staying safe, and employees were staying safe, and that kind of thing, and that delayed refunds, and we understand the frustration that was there. So this year, let's get to a computer and hit enter, and let's get those refunds out quicker.
Yeah, it's so important for people to understand that when you send in paper, it takes a little longer and it just kind of works easier if it's electronic. But with electronic comes a lot of concern from people. They get scared because, oh my goodness, all of my personal information is on the internet. I mean, what is the IRS doing this time to kind of protect that? I know there's something called an IP PIN.
Right. So anything that has to do with putting information electronically, you want to make sure it's encrypted and you're not using public spaces and Wi-Fi and all that. Make sure that's all secure. But really, it's really safe and secure to put information down in software and transmit it to the agency. The IP PIN program was developed a few years ago, and basically it's an extra number you get on your name, if you will, if your name's on your return next to your SSN that identifies you as just you, and basically allows for more efficient processing when it comes to ID theft and that kind of thing. So the IP PIN program is opt-in. You have to create an account on IRS.gov. You get this one-time number. You use that number when you file a return. It makes it much easier on the IRS to know that you are you and it's not fraud from somebody else. That's kind of the bottom line.
I've gotten a lot of messages from people saying that I got my stimulus, yay, but I was missing my dependent payment. Or I only got my stimulus from myself, but not from my spouse. Is there a way to recover that? How do you do that on your taxes if you're not supposed to claim it on your taxes?
Right. If you didn't get the full amount of economic impact payment 1 or round 2, which we're currently administering in terms of checks that are still going out to the end of January, the end of the month here, then the recovery rebate credit is your spot on a 2020 1040 tax form. And more information about that, what it is and how it works and all that, per your eligibility, is in the instructions. It's going to be in the software. It's a big message for us to make sure people know about that. But that's your backstop, if you will, is the recovery rebate credit on a 1040 tax form.
A lot of people, there's twofold of this, because a lot of people who normally would have a tax obligation either lost their job or, quite frankly, haven't made that much money in 2020, so they're not going to file a tax return. And I'm wondering, how do those people get their stimulus if they are qualified?
The non-filer tool for the first economic impact payment was set up so people who didn't file a tax return normally could provide us with direct deposit information, and that way they could get a direct deposit real fast when it comes to that. The second one that's not available. So for the second round of economic impact payment, if you're a non-filer and you normally don't file a tax return, you're going to have to actually file a return this year to get that economic impact payment, or the full amount of it, if you didn't get it sent to you, either direct deposit or a check or a debit card coming up here in January. And so the free file program at IRS.gov is a good spot. It's $72,000 or less, and you can file a federal income tax return with software from our partners, and that's about 10 or 12 of them that are there for free. And transmit a federal income tax return for free. The other thing about that is to think about that. If you qualify and you had a change in income, as a lot of people did, or you had unemployment, which is taxable, there's a lot of things in the earned income tax credit that you might be eligible for. Some will qualify when they haven't this year because of that. So you want to check for that as well. And the earned income tax credit, other credits are available. Even if you don't have to file a return, perhaps you should to claim this credit, which can significantly boost your refund. And at the same time, you might get an economic impact payment. So there's always reasons to file if you don't have to. And that's because deductions and credits are available to you might be overlooking.
Raphael, thank you so much for your time. This is a lot of information, I know, but we will have this whole segment available on BEOND.TV. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Anytime.